This thing that I have found is what I would call my gracious space. Okay, folks, here we are. Jack Carlisle once again, high atop Old Town Orange, the place I have my business, my home, the podcast. I truly love it here and very grateful to be able to live in a town that I do call home. But here we are, high atop this beautiful plaza that we have here in Old Town Orange, and I'm one lucky guy because I can invite friends into my space and have conversations. And so this morning we have Schad with us. Good morning, Schad.
Good morning, Jack. Man, I'm happy I'm here.
You are always happy. Yeah. I can tell you that. In fact, that's how I was going to start. You have this like infectious, like you're drawn in. Like all you do is just say a couple of sentences. The next thing you know, this whoever you're talking to, whether it be in your fitness studio or just on the street, they immediately are drawn to you and want to just get sucked in. And next thing, there's a conversation happening. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. So just a quick preview of kind of you and what you do. I want to give the folks kind of an outline for that. Real briefly, kind of give us a rundown of what you do in your business.
Yeah. So, I'm a coach. That's what I do. I coach people. I just choose fitness as my method of coaching people. The ideal result is to help people live a better, healthier life. Fitness is the tool to do that. There's plenty of other coaches out there that use different methods. My method is fitness, accountability, and challenging people. Yeah. Asking them questions and putting them through some tough, difficult things that are going to require them to grow. But beyond that, I try not to let just coaching and my business define who I am. You know, I'm a brother, I'm an older brother, I'm a son, I'm a husband as well. I'm a friend. I love playing video games. I love listening to music. So there's a lot to me that like I try to tell people like, hey, look, like coaching, that's just a piece of me. That's a part of me. And it's what I do most of the day, but I have so many other things that I love doing with my life. Yeah.
And you know what? I love that you started out with you're a coach first. And you're just using fitness as an outlet to kind of preach that, if you will. I do love that, and I feel that from you. So we're going to flip the tables a little bit here today because you just mentioned that's what you do to people. You challenge them. You ask them questions. Well, I want to know more about you and what challenges you today, just like you would be asking your own client. So I know you've had some struggles lately. Physically within your own self. So let's start off kind of with what do you do when life kicks you down? How do you get yourself back up?
It's a tough one. I try to recognize as soon as possible when I'm spiraling down. Sometimes, and I call it the shit pit. You got to name it.
Well, it's you spiraling down. That's pretty dramatic. Yeah. But that's kind of what we do. We all do at times. And do you think we kind of sugarcoat that sometimes? And not it's like my staff here at work and my friends, I don't want them to know I'm spiraling down. But why be ashamed of that if you are? Reach out to them, have them help you. Yeah. Tell me more about that when you spiral. Tell me, how do you get back up from that spiraling?
I try to notice it as soon as possible. Like there was an instance one time where I woke up, it was like 4:15 in the morning, and I looked at the floor and I just stared at the floor for 10 seconds, just allowing negative thoughts to take their grip. Yeah. And I'm looking at the floor, and that's when I realized, and this is probably about 2020, I'm spiraling. You need to stop right now, Schad. You need to shift. Yeah. So I looked up, get on the floor. Let's do some push-ups. Do something to shift your state right here, right now. Because if I stay in that spot and I allow those negative thoughts to dominate my headspace, what's the rest of my day going to look like? Yeah. So what I try to do is I try to cut the head off the snake as soon as possible. There's times where you can't, though. It's tough. And so I use different outlets to do that. For instance, I was in somebody sideswiped me in my truck last Friday, right? It was a box truck. They were turning and they hit my truck on the side and they kept on going. Yeah. Obviously, I'm pissed off. I'm enraged. Like, you just hit my truck. Of course, what's going to happen? I'm fine. They're fine. But I didn't think it was going to pull over because they keep on going, missing the exit. And then he keeps on going, finally pulls over. And I go over to the side. I'm following him. Yeah, you hit me with your truck. Yeah. And he's in a big-ass box truck, so I don't know if he heard it or felt it or not. Yeah. And then I pull over. I see him to the side. I'm like, point my finger at him. He's like, good. I'm like, all right, cool. Okay. By that moment, calm. You need to calm down, Schad. What you thought was going to happen, which was he's going to run away, That was what I thought he was doing.
You had already sort of convinced yourself that's what he was doing.
I convinced myself he's running away.
Yeah.
But the reality is he was just trying to look for an exit.
Safely.
Yeah. And he was so shooken up from it. So when I got out of the car, I took 5 breaths before I got out. And I said, I got out of the car, calm. I was like, hey, man, like, what happened?
What's up?
He's like, I missed my exit and I hit this. I said, how are you doing?
Oh, wow.
Are you okay? Because I can think about myself in that moment, but I already had those 5 deep breaths to reflect. My truck is operable. I'm fine. There's just a couple scratches. But what about the person that caused the accident? How are they feeling in this moment? Are they shooken up?
Yeah.
Are they a little frightened?
Well, on the flip side, too, he's probably frightened what you were going to do.
That too.
He saw you were pissed, or at least he perceived that.
Yeah.
And he thought you were coming after him probably, too. So he had already sort of indicated what he was feeling and wanted or anticipated feeling.
Yeah.
When both opposite, maybe you guys, or no, you were in it together, right? So how do we resolve this and move forward?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Literally 2 hours later, insurance called, done. He's like, I'm at fault. I'm to blame. And again, like, I was cool. I'm like, hey man, like, are you okay? I'm good. Are you okay? And I wanted to make sure I passed on, like, hey, I'm calm. I'm cool. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to pass any blame. What happened. Are we good?
Figure it out.
Yeah, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Let's call insurance and let's let them deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you make me think of something personally that happened to me this week too. Sometimes I'll speak for myself, wasn't so lucky, and I took it further, deeper into a stressful situation where I didn't need to, you know, and I ultimately pulled myself out of it because I like you, I was too late though. I had already made it, and there was no resolution from this other person. They didn't care.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to hear what I wanted to hear from them. So I just, at one point, I got to drop this.
Yeah.
Because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, so there's that too. Regarding that, because of that day it became stressful, what do you think brings it upon you to make it that stressful? Was it already a stressful morning? Had you not eaten? Was there no sleep that night?
I think for me, it was just like your survival instinct kicks in.
Survival.
You're driving, and when you're driving, you're already in like a slightly heightened state of focus because you need to make very quick reactions in case just like that happens. Unfortunately, I saw the truck coming over, but I was on the side where there's construction. So instead of having the 10 feet where I can veer over, it was just the concrete layer. So I couldn't go anywhere. So boom, like, and I literally saw him pulling over, but I couldn't do anything. So it's either hit this and now it's 100% my fault, or just, hope for the best. Yeah. And so when you're already in that heightened state and then you think somebody's going to flee and now you're going to be responsible to have to fix your own truck, which was $6,000 of damage. Yeah. I don't want to have to do that. So yes, I'm enraged and I'm angry. And I feel like that's a totally normal response to have.
It is fairly normal.
I'm not like a monk that's going to be like, it's fine. But when I realized the reality of the situation, he is pulling over. He just didn't know when.
Right.
My thought was he's running and he's not pulling over. That was my thought.
Yeah.
And that thought created that stress response and allowed me to kind of just like be right behind him the whole time. Yeah. And then once he gave me the thumbs up that he recognized he did it, he's pulling over.
Okay.
Literally melted, gone. Reality is he's pulling over. Yeah. What you thought was real is false.
Yeah. How did you take that with you into that day? Did you
moved on? Went home. Yeah, moved on. Like, I had a client and I just texted him. I was like, "Hey man, got to cancel." Showed him a photo of my truck. Yeah. He's like, "Hope you're okay." I'm good. Yeah. Literally got home and got the call from insurance. Talked to them. Scheduled the date. Did my work.
Yeah.
Went home. Said hello to my wife. Pet my dogs. Went to sleep.
Yeah.
Totally fine. Yeah.
So you were talking about. I think you said 19 or in the 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when did fitness become a business for you? Was that kind of that point where you wanted to build something and create coaching, using fitness to coach?
No, that happened when I was 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Way before.
Way before. Yeah. You may not notice I was 100 pounds overweight.
Okay.
I was overweight, unconfident, and I stepped on the scale when I was in wrestling. And I remember it was just after football. I was offensive tackle. I was a great football player, heavy,
big guy,
super strong, but I had an eating problem. I had too much weight on my body. And when you're overweight your entire life, physical fitness came a little bit later in my years, but growing up when your formative years of elementary school, being picked last, running the mile at 17 minutes, having the coach be like, hey, you need to go follow him, get him to come here. It does a number on your self-esteem. And I started my dad always encouraged me to be fit, ride bikes, do this and that, but he didn't really stop me from eating anything. He just knew, hey, you're going to grow out of it at some point. And, I went and joined PE. Here's how lazy I was. I joined ROTC because they had 1 day of physical activity a year, and that would have replaced. Yeah, no, 1 day of physical activity a week. A week.
Okay, a week.
Well, you basically go out there and you kind of march.
Yeah.
But I was a punk ass kid. Literally, I was wearing misfit shirts, mohawks, studs, vests. I didn't care at all about authority. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing wearing a Navy uniform after this on Thursday when I'm marching around school? I'm like, no. And so I dropped out of that and joined PE. My PE teacher was the football coach. He saw the size of me. And he's like, I'm going to make your life hell unless you join football. And he surely did. And so a week later, I joined football.
Yeah.
And from there, I learned how to lift and all these things. But when I stepped on the scale, the beginning of senior year, I was 285 pounds, which means I had to cut weight for heavyweights.
Yes.
Cut weight.
Yeah.
And within a split second, I saw myself, I'm either going to quit right now and live a life where I'm just going to be overweight, fat, out of shape. I don't know what that's going to be. But it was harrowing, that image, because I saw the disappointment in my parents and my family and my friends.
Wow.
That was not the life I wanted to live.
Hit
Eating
hard.
Cheetos and playing video games all day.
Yeah.
It was almost like a lifetime had gone by in 5 seconds.
Okay.
Immediately I chose, fuck that. I'm going this way.
Yeah.
I'm going to use wrestling as a catalyst to lose weight. Lost 60 pounds in those 3 months.
Yeah.
Just
huge change.
Pretty
quickly,
just shifted immediately.
Yeah.
I'm done. I got to go. And so changed my diet. Instead of hanging out with my friends, we're smoking weed and stuff like that, eating 15 tacos on Taco Tuesday, getting all the value menu stuff, just eating terrible stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, instead of doing that, let me research bodybuilding.com. Let me find out how to eat. Let me find out how to lift properly. And then so after wrestling season, I was like, ooh, this is a catalyst. I've lost 60 pounds. I need to keep this off. How do I continue to go? And so I learned a bunch of stuff. And I was going to zero period for to go use the gym. And I also had gym class as well. And I would be, I got a job selling meat and freezers door to door. So I was walking a lot. So I was super physically fit. And I was learning how to eat better. And so I graduated a completely transformed person. Instead of just being this overweight guy, no, I was like a man, stacked. Wow. And so I was super pumped, and I was like, oh shit, this is radical for me.
Yeah.
I need to help people do this because I'm not the only one who's in this situation.
So you talked about self-esteem. So your self-esteem improved during that period as well. Was that all on your own doing, or did people see this shift in you and a change?
Oh, people saw the shift.
Lifting you up in that
People
regard?
saw the shift.
Yeah.
People liked me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when I was in elementary school, I got used to being the clown. I got used to, let me laugh at myself. The way that I will have friends is if I laugh at myself because I'm the fat kid.
Yeah.
And I understood okay, you know what? If I do embarrassing things to me, I'm okay with that. But all that's doing is just crushing your self-esteem because you don't want to do that. I'll give you an example. My friends, I love my friends, right? But they convinced me hey man, we should shave your eyebrows. I was like, all right. And this one girl was like, yeah, that'd be hot. And I was like, okay, yeah,
She'll
cool.
like it. Everybody will.
Wow, that's a great idea. So we went to the wrestling room. It was second period or something. I don't know why. None of us had school. We got razors and they shaved my eyebrows off. And then I'm like, well, that's a stupid idea, but I did this because I thought well, hey, this is going to be something to kind of accept with friends and whatnot. And this pretty girl said to do it. She said it'd be cool. Turns out it was not cool at all. Yeah.
So sort of laughing, that whole thing, we're laughing with you, not at you kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. My friends are my friends though. But at the same time, it's friends talk shit on each other. It's part of what you do as teenage boys.
Growing up.
Exactly.
You do stupid stuff like that.
But they also knew they cared about me at the same time too. But more importantly, I just wanted confidence, talk to girls. I just wanted to get laid. That was the main thing. I wanted to get laid. I didn't want to be friend zoned anymore because I'm the fat friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm comfortable around you because I know you're not going to ever try to date me or whatever. Well, no, I would love to try to date you. Actually, I do have feelings for you. Yeah. Oh, well, that makes things weird now. And then I lose my friend. Yeah. And I was like, crap, that sucks. And my heart would hurt. And then, so I thought well, shit, like if I look better, maybe girls will be a little more attracted to me.
All of a sudden hit that connection.
Yeah. So I got into shape to get laid first, but then realized, oh, confidence comes with this.
Yeah.
It's not the body, it's the confidence that's better.
Yeah.
And then because of that, I'm like, oh, wow, like I feel way better, not just physically and from a health standpoint, but from emotional and mental standpoint as well.
So because there was such a big shift in that confidence, all of a sudden you went from 0 to 100 very quickly.
Yes.
And did that also sort of weed out your friends? Like, were they scared? Not necessarily scared of you, but they were like, holy shit, this isn't the same guy.
A lot of my friends, though, were all wrestlers. A lot of my friends, wrestlers, football players as well. So you got to think they're aggressive.
Yeah.
Like they want to get after it. They want to pin the other person down on their back and win.
Yeah.
So those are my friends.
So they loved it.
Yeah.
They figured out.
They loved it. Yeah. I didn't chase away any of my friends. If anything, like it kind of grew the bond closer and everything. Yeah.
And so with those friendships, have you maintained some of those throughout life?
Yeah. I mean,
still,
you grow apart and everything where I see them. I'm like, hey, man, like it's been a year since I've seen you and you live in Fullerton. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I can't blame anybody else but me for not taking the time and the action to go reach out. Where I see some people like, woe is me, I lost my friends. Well, have you done anything to try to maintain it? No. They don't reach out.
Yeah.
Well, look in the mirror.
Yeah.
So that's what I gotta do. I can never blame them. It's like, no, it's on me to reach out to my friends. How you doing? Just checking in with you.
Yeah. Do you sleep at all? I can just picture your mind going all night long with work and what are you going to do the next level?
I sleep well.
You sleep well. Yeah. That's good.
I'm like a phone.
Yeah.
Your phone does every single function until it dies.
Yeah. And so
you could be 1%, you could be videotaping, you could be recording stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like that. Like it'll be like I was at like a mentorship meal thing for the El Medina High School last night. And it was like 7, and I'm looking at the clock like it said it'd be done at 7. Now it's 7:10. We're still talking. 7:15. I'm like, it's bedtime in an hour and a half. I got to get going. So when they're like wrapping up, boom, I'm out. Went home. In bed, hour later. So I try to keep my bedtime. I wake up at 4, so I go to sleep around 8:30, no later than 9:30. But look, you got to live life.
Yes.
So if it's date night or I'm going to go out to a concert, I'm doing something, I'm not going to be like, well, it's 8:30.
Time to hit the hay.
Time to get going. No, like I'm going to do that and I just might nap the next day. Yeah.
Well, I was talking to a mutual friend of ours this morning, Patty Cordova.
Yes.
And I mentioned that to her. I was like, when does that guy ever sleep? Because we were talking about your give back, your El Medina High School mentorship, your Chamber of Commerce duties, your Rotary Club. I mean, you do so much for the community.
Yeah.
That's important to you, isn't it?
It is very important to me. And actually, I had a conversation with my wife yesterday, and she's like, you're a yes man. I need you to say no a little bit more. I was like, okay. So I need to respect her and understand, like, no, my wife, I got to, like, she needs to come first. I will say it's been a shitty thing, but I've kind of put her to the side a couple times in the pursuit of helping others. Yeah. But I have to remember, like, no. She's the person I married. She's my partner. I can't tell her, no, you're good by yourself over there. I have to also understand and include her needs that she has.
You know, that's so eye-opening to me because my husband, I had the same conversation a couple of days later about saying no.
Yeah.
I too am involved in the community quite a bit, but there's a point. And so I'm utilizing your coaching ability right now because you're just a light bulb. I've got to respect my other half's needs as well.
Yeah.
And so when I'm asked, hey, ease up on the yeses.
Yep.
That's true. Do you find how else are you going to encourage yourself to say no or shift that change into other avenues? Or I know respect for your partner is a big part of it. What else do you think?
I got to say not now.
Okay, not now.
Like no is no, but then not now just means like, hey, if you want me to come next week, well, I can't do it next week.
Yeah.
How about in 3 months from now? Let's revisit this in 3 months.
Yeah.
And then we'll find out. And then it might be again, hey, not now. I've had clients who I've been following up 1, 2, 3, 5 years even.
Yeah.
No reply. Every 3 months I text them, hey, how you doing? Just checking in, seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe no reply. 1, 2, 3 years later, I'm ready. That's it. They didn't have to say, they never said no.
Yeah.
But their lack of response, all that means is not now.
Yeah.
Not now. And so, here's an invite. You ready? No reply? Not now. Okay, cool. I'll come back in 3 months.
I like that. I was starting to say, let me get back to you. But that's almost as worse, I think, is saying yes, because then you've got to be accountable for getting back to them.
Yeah.
The not now allows you to do it on your terms when you're ready.
Not like now means, hey, not now. Hit me up in a couple months. What you're doing is you're passing the ball back in their court. When you say, let me get back to you, you're saying, well, I'm going to keep this ball right here. And if I forget to give it back to you, you might be a little bit let down because I didn't follow through.
Yeah. I like that a lot. What about in your business? Because I know you own your own business. That's just as much as a partnership. It's a relationship with your business. So how do you balance that as well? Because if you're out here doing all these other things, you're 1,000% committed to your clients. I know that.
Yes.
I've seen it. I've experienced it. And then do you feel like your business ever slips a little bit, or you could be doing better, or hard on yourself? I'm not bringing enough people. Yeah. How do you figure that out in that part of your life?
When it comes to like volunteer and extracurricular responsibilities, I got an email from Elizabeth saying, hey, we need people to go show up at Eggs and Issues. It's at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday. I've never been to one because it's right in the middle of my schedule. I'm not going to it.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah. Sorry. It's like
life reality.
Exactly. That's the reality.
Yeah.
So if I have clients and that kind of comes first, like that has priority over the volunteer things.
Yeah.
Unless the volunteer opportunity is something that I truly, really want to do, then I'll go do it. Like, let's say it's, hey, we need you to go speak at a high school, just some young kids.
Yeah.
And it's going to be at 9 o'clock this Wednesday. Hey, if I have to cancel 1 or 2 sessions, and if I can go make an impact on a whole class of kids, I will do that because it's one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're this mentorship with El Medina High School. What age group are those kids?
They're juniors, so that's going to be about 16 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what led you to do that? Like, was giving back to the community, not necessarily just the mentorship, but giving back to the community always something you held in your heart you wanted to do, or did you grow and decide I need to get back?
So I give you a little story here. I am actually I've been awarded a Good Samaritan of the Year award from Boeing.
Awesome.
Boeing,
pretty huge.
Yeah, and you got to think like, what, in 1998?
Yeah.
All right. What happened is my dad, we're driving from Joshua Tree, 1998. So people don't really have cell phones, and if you do, you definitely don't have reception out there.
Yeah.
We're driving out there, and he sees this car pulled over. My dad's a mechanic. So he pulls his truck over. It's me and my brother and one of my friends in the back, right?
Yeah.
I'm like 7 at this age. And he pulls over. He's like, hey, what can I do for you? Can I help you? He's like, yeah, my truck's just not starting. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Dad looks at it. He's like, oh, it's your battery. Okay, cool. So he's like, hey, let's drive to town. We'll get you a battery. We'll come back here. I'll install it for you. That sound good? The guy's like, are you sure? Really? He's like,
awesome.
Yeah, why not? Like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to wait for somebody else to come by and give you the same opportunity and say, are you sure?
Yeah. I'm here now.
I don't think he said that, but that's what I would imagine.
Yeah.
And so we drive into town. We get there. I think the guy forgot his wallet. Yeah. And my dad says, nah, it's cool. I get the battery. And the battery's like $150. And goes back and, we go there. I'm hungry. And I remember I got like a chicken sandwich from Carlos Jr. And we go back and he installs the battery and everything. And by now it's dark. So the whole thing takes some time. And he drives away. Thank you very much. Turns out he's an executive at Boeing where my dad works. He didn't say anything and got Good Samaritan of the Year. He was recognized in front of all the executives there. And what that taught me was like, it doesn't matter who you're helping. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And there's also a duality of this too, because it may have been that same trip or a trip before. And we were going to Jack in the Box. It was like 9 o'clock at night. And this lady comes up and says like, hey, like, can I have some money for food? And my dad says, oh, I'll buy you some food. Let's go in. Let me get you whatever you want. She's like, no, I just want the money for food. He's like, oh, well, I can't give you money, but I can buy you food. She's like, no, thanks, and walks away. And I'm like, hey, Dad, what was that all about? Yeah. He said, she didn't want food. She wanted money to go buy drugs or alcohol.
Something.
And so what that taught me is like, not everybody is in a position to be helped. And if the help they want might be for nefarious reasons. But there are people that absolutely, truly, genuinely do need help. And so you got to pick and choose. I can't help every single person. Yeah. So I choose to help teenagers and veterans. I haven't had the opportunity to help veterans, but Actually, I did. I gave a speech at National Guard once.
Awesome.
But hey, if there's an opportunity to help a veteran, I'll help them. But like those are the two. Because you can't help everybody. Some people, like I do pets and animals. Some people help the elderly. Some people help just veterans.
Yeah.
I'm teenagers and what's it called? Veterans. Yeah, that's where I have it. You know, if people are like, hey, homeless, I'm kind of like, I'm not as like into that as much.
That's a tricky one.
That is a tricky one.
Very tricky one. Yeah.
Where I see it as like teenagers, hey, you didn't really have like you're young.
Yeah.
You're at a point in your life where there's a path. There's a fork in the road right here. What path are you going to choose? You can go find some people that may lead you down the wrong path.
Yeah.
Or you could find somebody like me that's going to knock the shit out of you and say, go down that path. Because if you go down that path, there's a lot of mistakes. And I'll tell you all those mistakes you can make.
Yeah.
You're going to step in those potholes and break your ankle, or you can go down this path.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to do? And then I challenge them through that.
Yeah.
Veterans, they just get treated like shit. Like they do a lot and they kind of give the biggest sacrifice and they come back home without any sort of resources. So I feel like I'm not a veteran myself, but I understand what they've done and what they do.
Protect our safety.
Exactly.
Huge.
But they don't really get respect when they come back, which is so sad. So I'm more than happy to helping them. And also when it comes down to it, like first responders as well, police officers, firefighters, paramedics, all those are like kind of thankless jobs that they put their life on the line. I'm more than happy to helping them out whenever I can too.
Well, on a side note, I've got some way I'm going to connect you with for veteran assistance. So we'll do that
Not
a
now.
little later.
Not now. Not now. I'm maxed out. Not now. Yeah.
I love it. See, I put you to the test. You passed, Schad.
Yep.
So define kind of what's all in for you. Tell me what that means to you in your heart.
Ooh.
Tell me.
I'll fucking die for this.
Yeah.
All in.
All in.
All in.
All in.
That's what that means. And it's tough. Like I will bleed this. I will piss till like I can't anymore. And that's what all in means. Like I made a shift to start waking up at 4 a.m. every single morning. And I started doing that in the beginning of just this month. Because I'm like, I need to do this.
What was the shift from?
The shift was from, I've always kind of wanted to do it. I wake up at 4 a.m. 2 to 3 times a week since I've been 20 years old.
Okay.
It's just how I've done it. Just because I have to train people at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's abnormal for me. I'm not going from like 7 a.m. to 4 a.m.
Got it.
But there's a really positive thing about waking up at the same time every single day. It actually comes down to your circadian rhythm. So there's a health benefit of waking up and going to sleep within relative within an hour of the same time. But if I wake up at 4 a.m., for me, that's a very magical time because nobody's awake.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to disturb me.
It's quiet.
It's quiet.
Peaceful.
You go outside, you hear nothing. It's a weird time where nobody's awake, and if they are, they're doing stuff. All the drunk people, all the people that like, you know, werewolf mode at night, they're done. They're going on. They're probably passed out by now. So it's just you and the few other people that are in there in that magical hour. Yeah. So that gives me, what it's done is it's given me an extra 10 hours of productivity every single week. So on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays, which is pretty tough, because of course I want to sleep on Saturdays and Sundays. Yeah. It's tough, but I'm like, by the time Lauren wakes up, I've already gotten 3 hours of things done. Yeah. I'm like, oh, this is great. That to me is a form of being all in. I'm so all in that I'm going to wake up at this god-awful hour to get more shit done in the day.
And I feel like that's your home life, your community, your work, your day-to-day. You're all in every day for all those things.
Yeah. I try not to turn. Of course I take rest days. Of course there's days of rest. Like Sunday, I my phone's away. Yeah. It's very rare that you're going to text me on Sundays or anything like that. Even Saturdays after 12 o'clock, I'm just like, nah, let's chill out. Like, I don't want to reply. I don't want to do any business stuff at all. And so that's kind of, and all in to me also means like when you're on, you have to be on. You got to try to remove distractions, which is tough. Yeah. You know, remove those distractions as best you can. Are you reaching out to people relentlessly and in a positive way? Positive way. Meaning like, hey, am I reaching out to people, like reaching out to you for this podcast, reached out multiple times over months. And guess what? I'm here because of the unrelenting, like the not giving up and just be like, hey, let's do this. Let's do this. And I do that for clients as well. All in means like, I'm going to do my absolute best. Yeah. And you know, I will go to the very, very bitter end and then I'll keep on going. So my impression and, you're this strong guy, mentally, physically. I'm going to do it.
and I can do it alone. Do you feel like you ever need some push or need someone to help you do it?
Oh yeah.
You're not in it alone, right?
I've never not had a mentor.
Okay. Yeah.
I've never not had somebody there to like course correct me when I need it. And I respond really well to just like challenges. So I have a coach, and I've been working with a coach for years, and he cross-checks the shit out of you. If you have an idea, he plays devil's advocate all the time and asks you questions that really make you think about it. Like he's gonna, like you might have, hey, I have this dream. Well, cool. Let me shit on the dream first and see if that dream is possible for you. Like, oh shit, just to see like, is this reality? Is this real? But it's not like, hey, you know what? Do the best you can, but let's really like, I'm going to poke holes in what you can do. So that way you can go ahead and create barriers and defenses against those things if those do happen. So that way your plans are strong. Yeah.
So do you have others that help you with your business? Do you have employees under you, or you bring in?
At the moment, I don't have any like employed, I pay them a W-2, anything like that. Yeah. I am currently working with one guy that's going to be an assistant for me. Good. So I'm doing some stuff to do. There's some check-ins. You know, the hardest part is like letting go of tasks. Yeah. Like what I'm going to start doing is
exactly where I was going with this.
It's hard. It's hard.
It. Yeah.
You know, it's like the question is, well, nobody can do it like me. How can you replace me?
It's your vision.
It's my vision.
It's your brand.
It's how I coach people. Like if I hire somebody, do they have the energy that I have? Do they show up 5 minutes early before everything to make sure things are ready and set to go?
Yeah.
So I need to have standards. So I live my life at a high standard, and I try to I pull people up to that standard as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to expect that out of coaches. So I have, it's hire slow, fire fast if somebody comes into the business. But I'm at the point where like I have to bring people on, because the only way I can grow is if I let go of responsibilities and allow people to help out with things that they can do.
But hearing you say all this, it sort of immediately takes my mind, this gentleman that perhaps is coming up in the ranks with you then become a mentor.
Yes.
Are you?
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm trying to relate to people. So I have one kid who he's going through physical therapy, and he has his own business. And he's like, hey man, like, can I call you for some questions? I said, sure. Like, call me up. We talked for about 45 minutes, and I told him like, you need to do this, this, and that. Yeah. Do this thing, and then come back to me on next Thursday. Tell me if you did that or not. Accountability. And he's like, hey, can we do this like weekly? I said, yes, but what are you gonna do for me? I don't have time to just do this for free for you. Like, I can't. I'm sorry. What are you gonna do for me? I will do a 30-minute call with you. You need to do an hour of work for me. But I need you to pitch this to me. Pitch this to me and sell it to me. Just like you would for a client. Craft a deal. Send me that deal. And I need to know that this is a good deal for both of us. You're coaching. And for him, he was first starting off like, well, what are you going to do for me? I was like, bro, if you're going to ask that question, what the, then don't. That's not going to work.
Did you give him any direction or hint of what you were looking for? Or are you just going to see what he's come back?
I told him, I said, how was this call? Do you have clarity from this call? He's like, yeah. I was like, so you know exactly what to do? Yeah. I was like, do you want more of that? Yeah. Well, then stop fucking asking questions.
I want to know how that turns out. I want to hear what he came up with. You'll have to tell me on it.
Well, we had a call, and same thing. We came to clarity. I was like, here's exactly what you need to do. You want this client. You want more clients like that. You need to have a 4-week sit down. How are we doing? Have a little progress report with him. Things that a lot of trainers don't do is sit down with their clients every couple of months or weeks and saying, what are we doing well? How can I improve my service to you?
Yeah.
And then finally you ask, do you know people that are just like you that want these services? Yeah. Can you write their names down and introduce me to them in a text message? That way you get a referral for that type of person.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah. I was like, go do that thing. So tomorrow when I have that call with him, I'm going to say, how did that sit down go?
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask him if he did it. I'm just going to say, how'd it go? Just expecting that he did it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, okay, man. Well, our call is pointless, because why move on to the next step if you haven't done this first step?
Can't get to the first step.
Yeah. So the call is going to be super short tomorrow then.
Yeah.
If that's the case. Like, go take action now.
You're laying down expectations.
Exactly.
Everybody knows then.
Yeah. And then my expectation is, well, you have to do an hour work for me. So I'm trying to have him do is, because he is going through physical therapy, he has an understanding of the body, is I'm creating systems to program for my clients. Yeah. Since I do semi-private personal training, everybody gets an individualized program based on where they're at. So for instance, like Patty, she's starting off with 4 months. So she's a very beginner.
Yeah.
I have other people that might have been training for 5 years and they're very advanced. Well, how do we train them in a way that they're both getting the workout that's best for them.
Yeah.
Because if you go to a large group, well, hey, here's the cookie cutter workout. Here's the beginner, here's the advanced exercises. Everybody's doing the same thing. So in this case, I have to have different programs for different levels. And so I'm really good and I can quickly do it fast and put their adjustments in. But now I have to create a system because when I have coaches that I'm going to say, no, you have to program for your client. But here's the system that we have for you to program on this application that we have. So I have to create the system, which I'm doing right now, to teach him, you're going to program for my clients. Basically, all I'm going to expect him to do is put the workouts in there. I'm going to review them and add in any little final touches to them. And what that's going to do is that will take off a couple hours of work from me.
Streamlines it. Consistency.
Exactly.
For both of you guys.
And the way I see it is for him too. It's like, well, here's what you're going to do. You're going to learn a training system.
Yeah.
Because I was like, hey man, give me a workout. Literally, he's like, we did drop sets of squats on the first thing. And to me, in my head, I'm like, this is not a way to train people. And I know you want to train people in their 50s. What are you going to do? Putting a barbell on their back after a 2-minute warm up.
No. Yeah.
And so I didn't say anything. I was like, hey, but he did something. He's like, oh man, I pulled my groin. And I was like, here's the thing. You need to learn how to properly sequence your movements.
Yeah.
Don't start with back squats. Put back squats in the middle of your workout so you're fully warm and ready to go. You're primed. Yeah. So that way it'll teach him a system that he can do. So you're right. There's a mentorship process that helps with that. And so I want to grow him up to doing that. So maybe one day he'll either become a coach for me or he'll be more successful in his business.
He's going out into the world with more knowledge.
Exactly.
So what he's also learned is how to take that through life with him on other aspects.
Yeah.
Not just his personal business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So give us a little bit of your social medias, website, if you got information out there you want others to kind of find out more about you. How can they do that?
So I am all about giving value and content. I've looked at some people's Instagrams and I'm like, how do you have so many followers when all you have is just you with your shirt off? I get that. Or hey, where's the value in that? It looks good. It's aesthetically pleasing, but how's this helping people? I'm all about helping people. So on my Instagram, if you go there, you're going to get inundated with, here's mobility exercises to try. Hey, here's a tip on this. Here's a mindset thing. Here's a pep talk to get you up. My Instagram is Force3 Fitness, all one word, and it's Force3 Fitness.
Force3 Fitness.
Force3 Fitness.
Got it.
My website, force3fitness.com. My YouTube channel, Force3 Fitness. YouTube.com/Force3 Fitness.
Yeah.
And I have a personal Facebook if you want to follow me on there as well. Just Schad Gibbons. I don't really post on that much, but those are my 3 places. My website is just kind of like a page where it'll tell you briefly about the business, the services that we offer, and what we do there.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's next level for you, Schad? Where do you want to see yourself go?
Next level is coaching people on a higher level, meaning that, like I said, I coach people through fitness. But I want to coach people to make more breakthroughs through that. I would like to coach people to help them on their business. Because the thing is with the skills of coaching can be applied to anything else as long as you have the experience and the knowledge to do that. Yeah. So how can I help coach people to become a better marketer? How can I coach people to be a better speaker, to become a better business person, to be a better leader, to coach people to be better husbands? Yeah. I like coaching men more. I love coaching women. That's the majority of my clients. Yeah. But I can be very aggressive when I coach. And so I'm a little bit more towards men for coaching in that way. And so I would like to help coach men, young men specifically, like 20s to 30s. Because I don't know, I feel like the newest generation, when I was a millennial, was millennials are fucked. They don't work hard. They complain. They eat avocado toast. They're never going to buy a house. They're always going to have credit card debt. I saw those things fuck you. I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to get married. I'm going to work my ass off.
Don't tell you not to do it.
No.
No.
Gen Z, I feel the exact same way for Gen Z. Yeah. All right. But I'll give you one quick thing. Here's how I create opportunities. I was outside of Sprouts buying something. It was last Friday when it was 103 degrees. I see this kid. He's selling chocolate.
Oh, 103
chocolate.
degrees.
It's melting. And I stopped by. I'm like, hey, man, let's get some. And he sees my shirt. I'm wearing my Force3 Fitness shirt. He's like, hey, man, what's that gym? I was like, oh, I own it. It's right down the street. He's like, oh, I'd love to get into fitness. He's like, follow me on Instagram. He follows me on Instagram. I hit him up. I say, hey, man, what's your skills? What are you good at? He's like, well, I'm really good at personal service. I always provide with smile. I'm like, cool. Tell me more. Okay. He tells me a little more.
You're digging.
Yeah. I'm like, are you good with, can you film? Can you film a workout? He's like, yeah. It's like, come here 2:30. let's film. I'll give you $25 for an hour. How's it sound? He was there.
Wow.
So I found this kid a week later. I'm like, yo, come to my gym. I see you're a hustler. You got that work ethic. You're 21. Let's do this.
103-degree day.
Yeah. So melted chocolate. I can't coach that. So I want to find people like that and coach them. So when it comes to that's a Gen Z kid. The kid that you think is not going to work hard. Nope, he's out there sweating his ass off selling melted chocolate.
Yeah.
I want to help him out. And I want to help the other people that, again, are willing to be helped and willing to be coached. So that's on the next level is how do I help people make a radical transformation where fitness is just a piece of it?
Yeah.
How do I help them with their overall mindset to be better in relationships? So that's where it comes to. I think in the next 5 years, I want to build up my business to being at a point to where I'm still there. I'm going to be there coaching people to the day I die. I'm never going to retire. I'm not going to be that person that's like, you're coaching people like when you're 70. Why not? I love this. Why would I not do that? That's like people that are like, oh, you're fixing cars in your 70s? Well, if you love it, why would you stop doing it? If it provides you so much joy, it brings me so much life and energy to coach people. So I'd be that 70-year-old football coach in high school too. Yeah.
Do you know who Jack LaLanne is?
Of course. Yeah. Jumping Jack. Yeah.
That makes me think of you.
Yeah. Where he's like tugging boats with his teeth and
he's
swimming on.
Hustling, yeah.
So that's where I see myself long time from now. I know I'm going to see myself as like a vocalist in a metal band when I'm like 45 to 50 years old. I'm learning how to do a death growl right now because I know that's in my future. I'm going to be that guy like 10, 15 years from now. I'm going to be in a band. I'm going to be a vocalist. Even if I'm doing it for 200 people, I'm cool with that. But I would say the next like 5 years, I want to have built my business to where I'm working on the business. I'm showing up every single day, but I have a team of lethal coaches that are savagely training people and helping them out, and they're building up that they want to do with their life. So I want to create the opportunity for people. And then I also want to go to other businesses and make more of an impact on businesses by doing lunch and learns, creating seminars and workshops to where I can make more of an impact. Say, hey, we have 4 hours here and we're going to set time. We're going to do this. I want to be a keynote speaker at larger events too. But in order to do that, I have to prove that I have the capabilities of doing what I say I do to help people out.
Yeah. I have no doubt you're going to be there.
Thank
no
you.
doubt in my head. Man, I feel like we have packed in a lot this morning. A lot.
Yeah.
So we're probably just going to have you back on at some point sooner.
I'm down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you have a lot to say, and I love and enjoy hearing about it. But thank you for being here.
Of course.
Very much. And everybody check this guy out on his socials and take a listen to what this guy has to say.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it.
We'll see you later, folks.